What's up, everyone? Welcome to Walking with HQ City Edition. I am not walking a mountain in Cabo, so it might be louder. I'm hoping the City Edition is good enough. But we'll see. There's been military helicopters flying over, and there'll be probably trash trucks and Lord knows whatever else on this walk through the beautiful city on the beautiful day. All right. So, I'm not Mexican, all right? I'm not in Mexico. On my walk yesterday back from pickleball, I got called a DILF for the first time in my life by this young 20-something-year-old doing pretty much this exact walk. And I don't know how to feel about it. I don't like getting old. It is what it is. All right. You guys didn't come here for that. So, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you've seen the Lamine Yamal Megacracks rookie 108 bis run up. I think in mid-March you could have gotten a PSA 10 for $950 or something. And now, as of last night, I'm putting all this in quotes, by the way. One sold for $10,000. Now, I put sold in quotes big time. I want to put the caveat out there of I think Lamine Yamal is a generational type talent. This is not anti-Lamine Yamal. I'm also like a big true rookie collector, but the 108 bis is not in fact his true rookie. I guess unless you want to say, because it's, part of the base checklist and the master rookie is an insert, but I don't really think that applies here. But if you get creative enough, you can. I actually think the 108 bis is actually his third card, but I haven't been able to verify the exact date that the third edition Megacracks came out. So, not sure on that. But, regardless, it's definitely not his first card. So, what's going on with it? Well, I don't know for sure. I'm not claiming to know what's going on. I've done some digging and I found some interesting things, especially around the grading, the PSA grading report. As I went looking, I noticed that a lot of the 10s have come in batches, meaning, by the way, you can go to Gym Rate and verify all this. Gym Rate breaks it down by day, how many were graded, how many 10s were graded, how many 10s were graded, how many overall were graded. And what I found is a lot of 10s came in batches, meaning one day there was 10 more, 15 more, whatever, than the previous day. And then you'd go for a while and there was maybe one. And these 10 or 15, the PSA 10s were jumping 10 or 15 and the overall was jumping only 20 or 25. And then, I might get loud here for a second as I have to cross this loud ass street. But, so that got me thinking that, hold on, I'm about to do some Frogger. Hope to not get run over. All right, here we go. Anyway, oh great, leaf blower. Walking with HQ City Edition. Terrible. Anyway, they came in batches, which makes me think that a few, maybe one, but no, probably a few people have a bunch of these things. And maybe once they had a bunch, maybe they decided to buy up the ones that were on the market because they were very cheap. Yeah, I mean, cheap relative to supposedly where they're at now, right? And so once they had enough of it, it became in their best interest for these cards to be worth a lot more. Okay? Again, I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just saying this is what maybe could be happening based on the fact that it seems like people have bunches of these. All right? And so if you have a bunch of them, you can then start manipulating. Oh, getting barked at. Getting barked up. What's up? You can then start manipulating the market by buying your own cards, right? So you can put one up, have one of your other accounts, or your account, whatever. If you run it through a consignor, at these levels, you can probably get the consignment rate down to like 5% or so. So, on $7,000, 5% is $350, right? So if you have 25, 50 of these things, and you can run a comp up to $7,000 for $350, you just made, say it is a $1,000 card. You think it is a $1,000 card, but you have 50 of them. You run up a comp $6,000, you have 50 of them. There you go. You spent $350. You made, in theory, $300,000 in comps, right? So that would be a pretty good strategy, right? And with this card, if you have a bunch of them, you don't have to worry about like all the different parallels that come along with, say, a Topps Chrome card, where you have to kind of like protect the whole market, because like if you have a bunch of 50s, you got to protect the 25s and so forth and so on, like all the numbers around it, and it becomes more of a hassle. If you have this card, you kind of maybe you have to protect the 9s as well, but not really. You just have to worry about the 10s, because then the 9s are cheap enough to where the sheep will follow, and so that's all you kind of have to worry about, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, let's see here. I need to stop giving reasons to hate it here. Why can't you just be a hype machine show? Yeah. I've seen this movie. Yeah, I've seen this movie before. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people are acting like Fati didn't exist. And I know I get crap because Fati was great. Fati was given the number 9. Fati was given the $1 billion release contract. Barcelona screwed Fati. But this is not even, I think, Lamine will get hurt or any of that. This is strictly about the Megacracks card. Look, I think his market in general is getting manipulated from non-soccer collectors. We're starting to see it. It's like, I just kind of had this theory, because he gets knocked out of UCL, and then that's when his cards explode. But when he got knocked out of UCL, was right around the time that like the Lakers were losing, and a lot of the big hype NBA teams were also losing. Football season is in the dead part, not even like training camp. Baseball, nobody. And baseball, all the buying happens, before the season. So all these guys, well, maybe all these guys that needed to have something to pump knew that they could push this, like, the World Cup is coming narrative, and Lamine Yamal is so young, and yada, yada, yada. So I think some of that's probably going on with his like market in general, which is why we're seeing the explosion. But with the Megacracks, you're seeing it explode way more than like any of his other cards. You know, like it's going to just jump from 7,000 to 10,000 the day after Dembele and PSG and Doué win Champions League, and like now Dembele's like 1-3 to win the Ballon d'Or, and like Lamine's like 3 or 4 to 1. I don't know. None of it quite. Like, we never see this in soccer, right? It's like the guy loses UCL and then has the explosion. Like, I've been doing this long enough to where I know when people lose like that, they don't go up 2x, 3x. But yeah, so, you know, like I said, but I guess people are paying attention to soccer. That's good. This is what it felt like during the boom. So if you weren't here during the boom, this is kind of what it was like. And if you do have one of these cards, I'm not saying this is the top by any means, but clearly somewhere it's part of a bubble. I'm not saying you should sell. I don't give that kind of advice. But if you had a card that just went up 3x or 4x, me personally, I sell into bubbles. I don't care if I time the exact top. That's just not how I operate in life. Like if I sold a card for 500 and it went to 700 before the bubble popped, I wouldn't lose sleep at all for missing out on that extra 200. But hey, that's just me. That's why I don't give direct advice like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Premium says, like if you bought before the hype, sell and you know, go have a nice vacation or do something, you know, nice for yourself. You know, it's I don't know how it ends. I mean, look, if they win the World Cup next year, then this probably isn't the top. But as we saw from 2022, even Messi cards were dipping into the World Cup. So, yeah, I mean, and the other thing, the final thing is, like, people were trying to compare this to the Messi 71 bis. You know, they're like, oh, this could be it. Well, comparing the Messi rookie card market to the Lamine Yamal rookie card market is just silly, in my opinion. If Messi would have had a Topps Chrome in 2004, especially with numbered cards, his 71 bis would be a fraction of what it is. Like, I mean, it's just, it's a fun narrative to push. And look, this whole thing could last forever. Like, if they convince enough people, like, I mean, you have accounts spreading this crap now, you know, big soccer accounts, like, this is amazing, it's so great, this is the card, blah, blah, blah. Hey, look, maybe it sticks. I'm not here to predict the future. Like I said, if I had one, a big one, I'd be selling it. Usually this Megacracks thing happens with all the Barca guys Fati, Pedri, Gavi, but because it's usually the first card, and then when all the other crap comes, the better stuff, it just falls by the wayside. Also, the main difference, well, not the main difference, but a difference between the Messi 71 bis is it has like a gem rate of like 2%. You have to go all the way down to PSA 8s and above to get to the 20% gem rate that the you probably even have to go down to 7. I don't know. Let's say 8 to get to the 20% gem rate that the Yamal card has. The Yamal Megacracks has. Right? It's not like gemming that little. And look, I know a guy who has hundreds he's still waiting to grade. Some random guy who I don't know just posted like 30 of them on Facebook the other day that he's still waiting to grade. Like, this card's not that rare. 20% gem rate is it's tough, but it's not like incredibly tough. If I'm sure there's thousands and thousands and more out there. So yeah, I look, I don't know how it ends, but I'm all for soccer cards going up. I am thankful. I don't think soccer collectors are the ones getting burned here. I do think if anybody's getting burned, they're coming from the outside, which isn't great, because if they're willing to spend that much money, we don't want them getting burned in soccer cards. We want them staying around, but it is what it is. Let's just go through. Ballon d'Or's priced in. Yeah. Buy them back in a year. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a ton of marks of excellence too. Here's another thing. I see people that I know trying to sell like Lamine cards, the higher Lamine cards, for like supposedly what these comps are showing, and they're not even getting nibbles, which, I don't know, take that for what you will. Yeah, nobody. If he wins Nations Leagues, it's another accolade. Who? Nations League? Like, are we really trying to like just discover like Nations League? Erling Haaland won a treble, and his cards went down, and now we're talking about Nations League? Come on. Yeah, if I had Lamine, I would get into Messi. I would sell at these prices, and I would get into Messi. Yeah, I mean, like the other thing, like Mbappe, I mean, it depends how you feel about like his adrenaline cards, but let's just say his first major, he doesn't have many major hobby cards. His first is his select field level, and I think the PSA 10 pop on those is like 160, which is less than the Megacracks. And those things I don't even think they get to $200 now. But a card with a damn near 200 is going to get 10 grand. Give me a break. It's also yeah. I don't know if that people are being burned by FOMO, blah blah blah. Erling Haaland shattered EPL. Yeah, I mean none of it makes sense. All right, that's enough. Hopefully you guys could hear it most of the time. I'll save it. Talk to you later.